Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of The Snake Pit. I'm your host, Son of Bat, and instead of a review today, I thought I'd take a minute to talk about something pretty serious for physical media collectors. Something we all dread never happens, but could happen at any time without any warning. Of course, I'm talking about the inevitable disc rot. Now, some of you may be thinking, Bat, what is disc rot? What are you talking about? You know, some of my viewers who are more inclined to only stream and not collect physical media. This is a problem that can essentially affect CDs, DVDs, and video games. I mean, video games pretty much are DVDs, but it can affect any form of physical media that's on a disc. This is an issue that I'm pretty sure Laserdisc had way back in the 90s. And what it is the degradation of the reflective layer on a compact or optical disc, leading to data loss or corruption over time due to chemical deterioration or a manufacturing defect. And this can just wipe out your disc. It can make the whole media that you're trying to play completely unplayable. It's a total nightmare, a panic attack lying in wait, especially if you have a massive collection on video. I know I read the article from Jo Blo and I almost had a panic attack. I'm at work on my lunch break and I'm like, holy fuck, how many Warner Brothers DVDs do I own? So I quickly scanned through the list and I saw that there were a few that I definitely did have. So as soon as I got home from work, I just took them out of the stacks and just checked them out instantly. And, disc rot is something I've encountered before, even before this whole panic article was released. I remember I was at a video game shop like maybe 4 years ago, and some guy was telling me that collecting Xbox 360 games is pretty dicey nowadays, considering that Microsoft printed a lot of those games on really shitty discs. So he's been noticing that every time he gets Xbox games come into from sellers, they're completely corroded and rotten and he can't do shit with them, so he ends up just passing on them. And then some of the ones on the shelf over time, depending on how they're stored, if they're in a humid place or direct sunlight or heat or any of that, can speed up the decomposition. It's a fucking nightmare. It's horrible. I came home and I decided, I gotta check some of these. I figured, for some of my horror or action movie collectors out there, I'll go down this list. I'm not going to name them all, but I'll name some essential titles for specific genres just so you guys can check them out. But starting off the list here, we got 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Stanley Kubrick Director's Series, A Clockwork Orange, Stanley Kubrick Director's Series, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Infinity Film Edition, Blade Runner, the 4-disc collection, Eight-Legged Freaks, Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick Director's Series, Someone Is Watching Me by John Carpenter, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning unrated cut, Twilight Zone, the movie, and Austin Powers in Goldmember Infinity Film Edition. Those are specifically the ones I have that I had to check, and from checking all of those, I didn't find anything wrong with them. But with the box sets, you get the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, you get a couple of those combo pack DVDs. A lot of classic movies seem to have this problem. Apparently Spawn, the animated collection, has this problem also. The box set Stanley Kubrick Warner Home Video Directors Series, Tales from the Crypt Complete 5th Season, Disc 1 and Disc 2, Tales from the Crypt 1st Season, Disc 1, Tales from the Crypt 6th Season, Disc 1 and 2 on certain episodes. The Tex Avery Droopy Complete Theatrical Collection, The Exorcist Complete Anthology, specifically Dominion prequel to The Exorcist fails at the layer change, The Sopranos, Tom and Jerry, and The Vacation, European Vacation Double Feature Collection. There's a way more stuff down here too, and apparently Warner Brothers says they'll reimburse people on it and they'll replace discs, but I don't know how fast they're going to do it and how many people they're going to do that for. It seems like that will be a huge loss on the company's part, but I mean, who knows? Like I was saying though, I checked some of these discs and they all looked good when I took them out. None of them looked discolored or anything. I mean, Clockwork Orange kind of looked a little iffy, but then I put it in and it ran perfectly fine. So I don't know if this is completely accurate or if I just, because I'm up in the north and shit and I keep my room really cold already, it was just naturally preserved and I kept everything proper. Maybe if you live out in the swamps or out in the fucking desert or some shit, it's a different story. But from what I'm noticing, everything seems to be in working order. Nothing seems to be out of whack. So I don't know if this article is 100% accurate or if this was just, the cynic in me is thinking this could have been made just to up Blu-ray sales or get people all onto streaming to ditch their fucking DVD collections. But who knows? I don't know why they would do that. I mean, maybe it makes sense. The streaming's not very good. It's losing a lot of money and people are reverting back to their collection. So maybe in a last ditch effort, they're trying to get people to ditch their DVDs. I mean, who fucking knows? All I know is the ones I've checked that I have, everything was fine, not a single fucking problem. So a lot of panic for nothing. But having said that, I think it's very important if you are a thrifter, if you collect, if you have a massive collection, always check your discs because you can never be too sure. If you're buying secondhand, again, always check your discs. Thrift shop, same deal, because you never know. The guy before you could have kept the thing like complete shit. It could have been sitting out in a hot room. It could have been out in the sun. He could have been using it as a fucking coaster for all you know. There's no insurance on that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, because it's becoming, less and less things are getting printed to disc and everything's getting pushed to digital, at some point, there's not going to be any more DVDs being pressed. So really take care of your collection and, make sure that it lasts for years and even generations, because the thing that sucks about streaming, and going on a little tangent here, is you need like 5 different fucking streaming channels to get a semi-decent roster of movies. Like, I'll be upstairs with my girlfriend watching TV and I'll be trying to pick a movie or a show to watch, and then I'll notice like all the good shit is behind a paywall or I already own it, and then that leaves a whole chunk of nothing, like just shit you've either seen a million times that they play on TV already, like when cable was a thing, a million times, or it's some like shit you never heard of that you never wanted to hear of. Like, it's just, I don't know, streaming is bullshit, especially when, like, if you're a horror collector. For me, I think the dumbest one is Shudder, because Shudder's owned by AMC. So on Halloween, AMC pulls a bunch of movies from Shudder for their roster, and you gotta own both to get a semi-decent, like, it's just bullshit. Take care of your discs, take care of your CDs, your DVDs, your video games, because if you like that shit and you want to watch it, nothing would be worse than to put a movie on and then it craps out halfway through or right when you're about to get to an intense part. It seems like that would just cause a rage. Like, I mean, I think personal story, I think back in the day I had a copy of a movie that completely disc rotted on me and it freaked me the fuck out. Actually, I had 3 separate times where this happened. The first time, which was really unfortunate, was Dead Ringers by David Cronenberg. I believe it was the Criterion edition, like one of the old Criterion DVDs. For some reason, the disc completely fucked up, and that was extremely disappointing, but I thankfully found another copy. Another one was Redneck Zombies by Troma. Specifically, it was the Troma Retro 2-disc DVD. That one started acting real fucking weird and shit, and I managed to fix it with the toothpaste trick. A little hack here. So some toothpastes have this chemical, I think, for enamel in it that also works for fixing scratches in discs. So I think in this case with Redneck Zombies, it was scratched. It wasn't disc rotted, but the toothpaste trick worked on it. It worked on Dead Ringers slightly, but then it completely just gave up on me. So I think Dead Ringers was scratches and disc rot. And if I'm remembering correctly, it was Night of the Living Dead from the Elite line. This is like an old DVD with like a red snapper, not snapper case, but a red DVD case, and wasn't printed on the best quality, and at some point it just completely deteriorated while I was watching it. And to add insult to injury, the whole case was made on a really thick plastic, like a cheap thick plastic that just almost shattered like a shell, which kind of freaks me out because if I remember correctly, I have The Howling 3, I Spit on Your Grave, and Reanimator all on Elite discs, so those are potentially landmines in the waiting. But you can never be too certain. Apparently Warner Brothers did not print their shit very well from 06 to 08, but again, I don't know if this is 100% true or if this is just a spam article. I hope it's not. I really do like Jo Blo, especially their horror channel. They got a lot of good content out there, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm checked a good chunk of these discs and they all seem fine to me. So either it's depending on the area, depending on how you keep it, or it's just a fucking spam article. But I thought this would be something interesting for collectors out there to look into. Check your collections, make sure everything's all good. And yeah, just know what you're buying when you buy it. Double check everything. This was a short video, not intended to be anything more than just an informative blip on the channel, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got some use out of it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with you guys for another review sometime in the future. Peace.